the wide receiver room has had this thing this year, EGE, right? Everybody's got to eat. Well, I have a
Yeah.
new one for you. EGD. Everybody's got to get a drop at least once a game, right? So, welcome back to the Kingdom Corner. We're your host. I'm Andrew, and this is Dale. And well, let's just first off say this. Let's go ahead and get those likes, subscribes, those comments, reviews. Let us know what you think about this Chiefs season, how it's gone so far. So today we're recapping this game against the Texans. And Dale, is the season over?
Well, listen, the draft this year is in Pittsburgh, so I'm pretty excited about that. Just to see, the so yeah, no, this hey, listen, it's been a tough year for the Kansas City Chiefs, and something we're not used to here the last couple of years. But as you know, and I know, we lived through the '90s. As Kansas City Chiefs fans, we lived through the early 2000s and the mid 2000s, and yeah,
Yeah.
this is not. It's bad, but it's not as bad as it has been in the past.
Yeah, and I'll say those of the Chiefs fans who are thinking about jumping ship, those who think that, well, it's just done, there's no reason being a fan anymore, I'll tell you, you weren't a fan to begin with. You were just a bandwagon fan. And hey, we've said before, we welcome all the fans who want to be fans. But if you're going to
Yeah,
be a fan, right?
yeah,
And so,
exactly.
if you're not going to stay with the Chiefs because they're 6-7, then you weren't even around then when they were only a 2-win team and still watching every game like I was. So
Yeah,
just man, you got to be a fan through the thick and thin. You have to know that you're not going to win the Super Bowl every year. The NFL doesn't want dynasties. The
right,
NFL doesn't want there to be one team who dominates for 5 or 10 years, which is why you have cap space, which is why you have the draft order in the way that it is. I mean, all of these things are set up so that one team cannot dominate every other team.
right. So yeah, the I mean that's why the Broncos and the New England Patriots are at the top of the AFC.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, when you're the New England Patriots, and you have a fourth place schedule. That's what happens. You win 11 games if you have a good coach and a good quarterback.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But it makes you wonder why the Cleveland Browns haven't been good ever.
Yeah, because they have high picks every year and they get a fourth place schedule every year.
Yeah,
So there is something to be said about leadership and front office
right.
guys there that help you out too.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point because we have Kansas City. We know Clark Hunt is ready to spend. He wants to win. He loves winning. He loves being in the spotlight. And whether we know if Brett Veach is good or not, we're not sure. But just the fact that we have a front office that has gotten some picks right, like 15. And so
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, and to be clear, I know that's not what you meant, but you said that Clark Hunt wants to be in the spotlight. He himself doesn't want to be in the spotlight. He just wants his team to be in the
Yeah, yeah.
spotlight. And
Well,
and I know that's what you probably meant, but just no, you think Clark Hunt,
I
but
think Clark
you
Hunt
think
likes a little. I think Clark Hunt likes a little self. I mean, what are we doing addressing the team before training camp every year? I mean, come on, come on. No one needs, let the coaches
it's
coach.
apparently like you've never heard of this guy named Jerry Jones who has a weekly
Well,
standing
give me
with
give
the
me Jerry
radio
Jones all
station.
day, man. I'll take Jerry Jones as owner, man. The guy cares.
Okay. You mean to tell me that you don't think that all these NFL owners don't address the team at some point during the season?
Listen, I just don't need to see it. I don't need to see him addressing the team.
Do you think that he's out there telling those media guys what to do and what to post? No,
I,
he's not in
I,
charge of that
I
stuff.
listen. Andrew and I are such good friends.
So,
I know what gets him going, and I know that I can just say something, just drop a little nugget in there, and it gets them all fired up. And so I love it. But it's good to have a little fun. It's good to have a little laughter, even when our Kansas City Chiefs are. We got one more nail before the coffin's in, but it pretty much the Grim Reaper is coming.
that's right. And this year's not Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, so I mean, I know technically the Chiefs are still in it. They have a whatever percent chance to
yeah,
win, and they have to win out, and then 37 other things have to happen in their favor.
exactly.
Not really 37, but you know what I mean. There's a lot that has to go with certain teams winning and certain teams losing, and it's very improbable, not
Right.
impossible, but very improbable that the Chiefs will make the playoffs where they stand currently. And And that's why this game was such a big game against the Texans because
Right.
we knew that if they didn't win this game, their chances were way low. If they won yesterday, their chances were going to have a pretty good shot to make the playoffs. And if they won out, they're almost going to be guaranteed a spot. But
Right.
they didn't. And they came into the Texans knowing that they needed to do this. They came to the
Yeah.
Texans knowing the position they'd put themselves in, knowing that if they didn't win, that their chances for a playoff and potentially another Super Bowl were out the window.
Yeah.
And yet they still came out flat-footed. They still came out and didn't look any better than they have at any other game of the season. In fact, they might have looked worse in some aspects than they have in other parts of the season. And so in the past years, we know that when the playoffs come, this Chiefs team has kind of stepped it up, hit another gear. They've
Yeah.
just done what needed to be done to win games. And this year, when it really matters, when the game's on the line, you need a big play. Guys aren't catching the ball, tackles aren't being made, and they're just not hitting the same strides that they have been in the past.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's been tough. It's been a tough watch, and you would think like I think you said a couple of weeks ago on the pod where it was the fact like, hey, there's things they know they need to clean up, and if they don't clean them up, it's not we're going to get the same result as we've been getting less all season, and they just haven't cleaned those things up, and so it
Yep.
just penalties, silly penalties at silly times of the game that kills momentum, and then just not playing well, not catching the ball for one. That'd be
Yeah.
nice. Just catch it 50% of the time you drop it. That'd be great. I mean, that would improve greatly. And so, yeah, just those things. And I knew this. I mean, we talked about it last time where like it was going to be tough with the offensive line, three backups coming in, and then a backup for the backup, which was the first play of the game. So I mean, like.
Yeah.
So it's just very hard for Mahomes and the team to kind of get going. And that pass rush, I mean, that was probably the worst team we could play, with that situation. And so because they do have a dynamic pass rush, and
Yeah.
it's just like they speed you up. So
Yeah.
he may not got
Yeah.
sacked, but Mahomes was definitely sped up all night,
All
and
right.
so it made a lot of silly mistakes.
All right. Well, you just threw out a lot of things and haven't let me jump in here. So
All
let
right,
me
yeah, come
address
on,
some of these. So first off, you address the offensive line. Let's do that first because it's what
yeah,
started the game out. Wanya Morris at left tackle, and I'm just telling you, I already knew he couldn't play left tackle. The whole league already knew he couldn't play
yeah,
left tackle, which is why I want him to play right tackle and
yeah,
Jalen Moore to play left tackle. But that's not what happened, and I never want to see a guy get hurt. So don't misunderstand what I'm about to say. I they didn't show the replay in the stadium, from what I understand. It was so gruesome that they didn't show it even on TV. And so, but Wanya Morris got rolled up on, and apparently it was bad. And so I mean,
yeah,
really, truly, thoughts and prayers for him. Hope he has a good recovery and that he can bounce back. So, but just from a football aspect, we know that he has struggled a lot, mightily, playing left tackle. So
right,
everybody knew he couldn't do that. And then he goes out, and they have a guy that comes in, S.A. Pole, if I'm pronouncing that correct. I know it's
pretty
not
good,
quite how it looks, but anyways, he comes in and he's a undrafted rookie. He was with the Chiefs during training camp. Then the Chiefs cut him. He didn't make the practice squad. And
yeah,
then eventually he was added back to the practice squad. And then he's added to somebody else's practice squad. Then they cut him. And then the Chiefs just picked him up a week or two ago back to their practice squad. And it's all these injuries, they elevated him. And then second play of the game for the offense, he's out
yeah,
there. Well, I guess second play total in the game. He's out there.
yeah,
And this guy, undrafted rookie, played against one of the best pass rushers in the NFL and Danielle Hunter and only
uh-huh,
gave up one pressure to him. I
yeah,
mean, and of all the offensive linemen who've played against Danielle Hunter this year, who've had at least 20 snaps against him, and I believe that Pole had 24 snaps against him, but if you had at least 20 snaps against him, no one has allowed him one pressure or fewer
yeah.
except for Esa Pole. And
There you
so
go. He's a
hats
big
off to
old
him.
boy. He's
He
a
is
big old boy.
that
He's a
guy's
big
big.
boy.
Yeah, so
Big guy.
I mean, we might have found something there in S.A. Pole, maybe, maybe
Yeah.
not. It's hard to say after one game because
Right.
sometimes teams can figure out your tendencies after
Yeah.
a game or two, right? But man, that was a good moment for them. So, I mean, hats off. Congrats to S.A. Pole. Way to make the league and get on the field and perform very well in your first NFL action.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It was kind of gut wrenching to think like, oh man, here we go. We were already at our backup. Now we're at another backup. But yeah, he really came in. the game and did really, really super well for us, but just
Yeah.
not well enough.
Well, I told you before the game if the offensive line played well, the Chiefs would win this game, and I was
Yeah.
incorrect because the offensive line, I'm not saying they played phenomenal, but they played good enough to win a game.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Definitely. I've seen worse offensive lines for the Chiefs, and yeah, they definitely played better than that. It felt like their run offense, and maybe the Texans are just incredible at run defense, but the run offensive line, it just didn't seem like they could get the ball going very well.
well, I'm glad you asked that because
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now that the Texans have one of the better defenses in the NFL. We know that. We knew that coming into the game.
Number one. Yeah.
Yeah, number one even. But the Texans defense in rushing efficiency is number 10. So,
Yeah.
that's not necessarily the numbers across the board, but just what they call the efficiency. So they're the number 10 rush defense in the NFL as far as efficiency goes. And so they're still a top 10 defense. And even if you look at the straight numbers, they're even better than that, than a top
Right.
10 efficiency. And so for the Chiefs to play like they did, I mean, the offensive line did everything they could to win that game. I mean,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, they did.
they
I
did.
think they did enough. I think there was a couple of situations like a couple key moments where they didn't hold up as well. Like, the kind of the I think some third downs and fourth downs where, they just kind of didn't give
Well,
them enough time.
I'm not saying that either, but
Right.
S.A. Pole, when he was in there, he only gave up one pressure, and that pressure came at 4.5 seconds. At
Yeah.
four and a half
Oh yeah,
sec,
yeah.
at four and a
Yeah.
half seconds, and this you could say that across the board for a lot of these guys. Mahomes is holding on to the ball a lot, and
Yep.
this brings to my next one. It's not necessarily Mahomes' fault. It's not necessarily the offensive line fault. It's the receivers.
Yeah.
These receivers, we've talked about this over and over again. They've got to get open. And so
Yeah.
I've asked the same question on the defensive line as well as the wide receivers. I'm going to ask it again. Is it more a coaching problem or a player problem?
I think it's coaching at this point. I think we have the players. I think Rasheed Rice is good enough. I think Worthy has proven himself to be good enough. I just think it's the scheme to get it open. I mean, like I watch other teams. I watch a lot of football. Sad to say, I watch a lot of football where like
Yeah.
there are guys wide open for other teams. And I remember, I think it was Alex Smith. He was talking about like there used to be like 6 or 7 plays where Andy Reid would just throw guys that were wide open or like open, have them wide open. And so I don't know if this Matt Nagy, I don't know if this Andy Reid's lost his fastball. I don't know what it is, but I think there's something to that to where like there aren't those just give me passes, right? Where like, oh, why is that guy wide open over there? Like Travis
Yeah.
Kelsey, I used to listen to his podcast and he'd always say like he could get my dad open, and it's like, he could draw a play to get my dad open. So like, what's going on with those? And I would have thought because Texans play so much zone, you would have thought Travis Kelsey would have, but it sounded like it looked like they were playing man on him just alone. Like they had like a guy following him around. But you would think Juju would have got open and things like that. And I think looking at the film or looking at some of the clips today on X, it was like guys were open. Mahomes just missed them.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, no, I haven't gone back to watch yet, but
yeah,
were they open after he already had pressure, or were they open when he was just looking the wrong direction?
he was looking the wrong direction. And they were wide open on the wide open, and so then
Uh,
like other guys would come open when pressure came, and he didn't have enough time. And so it was like, is it just taking too long for those plays to develop to get open? So I think they are getting open. I think it's just taking too long, or he's not looking in the right spot at the right time, which is wild to say about Mahomes because he has probably the best field vision post snap than
yeah.
anybody that's ever played the game.
Yeah, I heard somebody say once, and I'd give him credit, but I can't remember who it was. But they said Mahomes has such good field vision that when the ball is snapped, if the vendor up in the nosebleeds runs out of peanuts, Patrick Mahomes knows. It's like he just
Yeah,
sees it all. He sees it
right.
all. And
Yeah, he
so,
sees
yeah,
everything.
to your
So,
point, just man, that is a big miss then by Patrick Mahomes if that's the case because he's had great field vision, and you
right.
know, I think it goes back to what we've talked about before is Mahomes is just trying too hard. Like
Yeah.
he's trying too hard
Yeah.
because of his wide receivers and because of his offensive line, because of some of the defensive struggles the past few weeks. But the wide receiver has had this thing this year, EGE, right? Everybody's got to eat. Well, I have a
Yeah.
new one for you. EGD. Everybody's got to get a drop at least once a game, right? So So
It
I mean,
seems like it.
it's what it seems like. I mean, look at this
Yeah.
game just against the Texans. How many key drops there were,
Right.
and there were drops from other times too that impacted the game. But how many third down or fourth down drops did we have? I
Right.
mean, I can think of at least five off the top of my head. Right. So Noah Gray had two himself.
Right.
Kareem Hunt had one out of the backfield,
Phew.
which I mean, I don't know if you could get more open or have a better pass than what Kareem Hunt had, and
Yeah.
he would have gone for 10 yards or more and got nothing for it.
Yeah.
But and then Travis Kelsey had a drop. I mean, you could say that his was a little more challenging, but they're catches that he's usually made throughout his career.
Yeah.
Rasheed Rice is the big one though. I mean,
I think he had
Rasheed
multiple. Didn't he have multiple drops?
probably Rasheed Rice seems to have multiple every game at this point.
Yeah.
So, but that brings to my point, like I think it is players, but I do think it's coaching more than players
Yeah.
because I mean, look at these players that the progression they've made, right? And I understand Rasheed Rice putting himself in a bad position because
Right.
his second year last year, I mean, him and Xavier Worthy, their rookie year kind of started slow, and by the end of their rookie year, they're both playing very well,
Right.
and neither one has continued that into this year.
Right.
Xavier Worthy, maybe he's fighting through some injuries. I know he's had been on the injury report for a while, so maybe that's some of it. He's just playing through it. Rasheed Rice was out over a year of football, part of that due to his own problems that he had with some decisions that he made, but none of these guys are progressing forward. And so if you have a coach that's good enough, you should be able to help these guys progress and get open and be able to make these
Right.
catches. And yet it seems like we're regressing instead of progressing. And so
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be coaching, and I don't think it's just Andy Reid or the OC.
No.
You got to start looking at position coaches.
Yeah. And I think one of the big things is, and I think you've said it, is the fact that there's no threat in the run game. There's no threat. And I kind of
Yeah,
mentioned it a couple of weeks ago where it was the fact like we don't have a guy that can just I mean, Kareem Hunt's going to get you 10, 15, 20, maybe 19 yards, right? In a run. Like, but it's not like a James Cook or Jonathan Taylor or, Saquon last year where it's like, hey, he could take it to the house, and I think we're just missing that respect of, hey, if we get a running back that can get running, well, that's going to make your linebackers come down. That's going to open up the middle of the field. That's going to draw safeties. That's going to make corners second guess. Oh, you coming on my side, So I think like, yeah, having a running back I think is a must. I mean, like a legitimate, whether you get it in the free agency or you get it in the draft, like like a guy that cannot miss running back, or at least someone that doesn't run into his own players. I mean, that
yeah,
would be fantastic.
it would be. What it brings
So,
back to what we talked about a few episodes ago before the trade
yeah,
deadline. Brees Hall was available
I know.
for a third round pick,
Yeah,
and the rumor is that the Chiefs offered a fourth and wouldn't give up a third.
yeah,
I mean, I don't know if it would have made that big of a difference this year due to all of our
right.
drops, anyways. But
Yeah,
you can't tell me it wouldn't have at least kept defenses a little more honest because you have to respect Brees Hall because we know what he can do. He has
and
speed and vision.
and Brees Hall
So
is one of those guys that Andy Reid loves because he can catch on the backfield.
yes, yes, and he made some great catches even this year, Brees
Yeah,
Hall that is, and so. I would have loved to have gotten him on the team, and maybe the Chiefs will try to find a guy like that in the offseason, but that's a Brett Veach thing that we can discuss later on too. But I don't want to just recap every little thing in this game because
yeah.
there's so much. But I do want to address one thing: the
All
fourth
right.
down play call. Right
Yes, come on.
there was,
That was the turning point of the game. I mean, that's what lost us.
yeah, and I'm talking about the first one in particular, where it's 4th and 1. So, I mean, before that, it's a long. I think it's like 3rd and 6 or something, and
Yeah,
Mahomes scrambles, or maybe it's even 3rd and 10, whatever it was. And Mahomes scrambles, it gets within a yard, and then Andy's like, "Oh man, I feel this now. I'm feeling the vibes," and all of a sudden he's like, "Let's go for it." And then, please, Dale, inform me, what is the best option we have on a third or fourth and short? What is the best
yeah.
option the
It's
Chiefs have?
lining up under center and handing it off to 29.
That's right, Kareem Hunt. It is more effective this year than the tush push, if
Yeah,
that tells you how effective it's been. I mean, Kareem Hunt, I mean, he has got stopped a few times, but very rarely does he get stopped in that position. And
right.
then instead of doing that, though, not only do they not even put Kareem Hunt back there, they go empty. And so
Yeah,
all of a sudden you've eliminated 50% of your play calls. And now you just told the defense, you don't have to worry about it because we're going to pass it. Because we all know Mahomes is not doing a quarterback sneak. Andy Reid
Right.
refuses to do it, and it won't happen. So we already know, okay, you don't have to worry about the run. It's a pass. Guys, pin your ears back. Go get Mahomes. And so, I mean, it's such bad play calling. So bad. And we've talked about this for a few weeks too. The play calling is insufferable right now.
Oh yeah.
It is so bad. And so, and I would say Andy Reid has a lot of really great things as a head coach. I
Yep.
mean, great, great things. But there are a few things that make you scratch your head. And this doesn't mean that we should be firing Andy Reid.
No.
If you're on that
Heavens no.
bandwagon,
Oh
then
man.
you I don't know what to say other than you're an idiot. So,
Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah.
that was a little harsh. You're not an idiot. We love you, but you know what I
Yeah.
mean. So just you forget where we were before Andy Reid is what
Yes.
is my point. So we don't want to get rid of Andy Reid. That's not the point of this. But he does have his shortcomings, like any coach would. And
Right.
his shortcomings are one, he's very loyal to people, sometimes too loyal, which
Yep.
we can talk about that more later. But he's very loyal to people. But the second thing is his fourth down play calling and end of game or fourth quarter play calling is suspect at best.
Right.
And so I don't know if you saw the uh, coaches conference today,
No.
but I was listening to it and they asked like, well, what were you thinking on these fourth downs? And yeah, because they had a 4th and 5 earlier on the opponent side of the field that they punted, and but
Yeah.
then 4th and 1 on their own 30, they decided to go for it.
Right.
And Andy Reid basically says, well, I was feeling it in that moment that felt like we had a good chance. It's like on the Southern one, I wasn't feeling. It's like, are we
Right.
basing this off of feel? And maybe he doesn't think that, but how he said it, it may just sound like he didn't say, well, the analytics will tell you, or the stats will tell you, or how the
Right.
game was going. It was no, I just wasn't feeling it,
Yeah.
or I just had a good feel. It's just if that
Yeah.
is what we're basing our fourth down play calling on, then that is awful.
Well, when I try, I mean, I agree with him a little bit to the sense of like you got the feel of the game, like what's happening, and what do we need to rally our players? Like, how do we need? But yeah, that one on the 30, that was ridiculous, especially because like when the big thing that the takeaway for me was like Chris Jones still got it, and he could take over games at times, and he did take over that second half. At least that third quarter, he took over. I mean, guys, maybe the end of the second quarter into the third quarter, he just took over that game, and it was incredible to watch. I mean, that was like, oh, that's why we paid that guy because no matter what you did, you couldn't. So, just because, and that was at that point where they went for it on fourth and didn't get it. I think it was like 4th and 4 and the 30. It was like man, your defense was playing so well. Like push them back, like make them earn it. Like if you give it to them, they're going to get a field goal, and they end up getting a touchdown. And so it's like, what are we doing? So yeah, that was a head scratcher for sure. And then just yeah, like you said, the play calling. Like what are we doing with throwing a crosser? You know, and I don't
To a
know. There
guy who
was
can't catch.
yeah,
So,
well, yeah, I know that is wild, and then like something either, yeah, it's just there's too many times
well,
where I think this year is for me. I've seen like Xavier Worthy's just disappeared off the field, like he's non-existent, and I don't know. Like go back to your idea, like I see where they like do play calling and they like make plays for Xavier Worthy, but like why aren't they doing that all the time? Man, the guy is electric. I mean, I know he's suffered through injury, but just get the ball to him in space and see what happens. I mean he's a smart player too. I mean, the guy knows he's small and he gets out of
wow.
bounds and things like that. So, which I'm all for. Like, best ability is availability, and so let's get him the ball in space and see what can happen.
I got to push back on the smart at least a little bit here, though. I'm not saying he's not a dynamic player. He is. But to say that he is smart, I mean, he's okay. But I mean, even
Oh, you're talking about the one
last
play. I'm talking about just getting out of bounds and not getting big
well,
hits, especially with his
I
shoulder.
understand what you're saying, but when you
Yeah,
say that a guy is smart, I'm thinking he's got to be smart all the way around. And
right.
I mean, think even last week to the Cowboys, he caught the ball nobody within 10 yards of him. There's two defenders back there, and he runs to the one side of the field where two defenders are at. I mean, think
That's where
about
the ball was going.
if Tyre. Well, okay, but that's the point. You got to be able to see that. You got to have that
Yeah,
field
yeah,
vision.
yeah,
Be
yeah,
smart
yeah.
enough to look. I mean, think
Well,
about it. If
yeah.
Tyreek Hill catches that ball when he's with Kansas City in his prime, do you think he's going to score on that play?
Well, it's hard to say.
100% of the time. No, it's not hard to
That's
say.
hard to say. Well, see,
100.
like the
No,
big
no,
thing.
no, no, Dale. 100% of the time, Tyreek Hill is scoring on that play, and Xavier Worthy ran right into the defenders.
Yeah.
And that's not the first
Well,
time
he
he's
ran
done
out of
that.
bounds. He ran out of bounds because he's a smart player. He said, "Hey, I'm not getting
Yeah.
hit. I'm not getting hit. This
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, man. I got to eat turkey later."
The smart
Uh,
player runs out of bounds instead of getting a touchdown. You're right. So
but like even his first career touchdown, his first game as a Kansas City Chief, like they threw those wide receiver screens, and he scored a touchdown like 22 yards out.
yeah,
How many times do we see the jet sweep with what was his name, McCole
Nicole
Hardman?
Hardman.
And it like not like I know like like he's faster than McCole Hardman. And McCole Hardman's fast, but like
Yeah.
Worthy's faster than him. So like, why don't we give him just give him the ball every now and then?
Hey,
What are we doing when he runs around Patrick and the running back and like runs a big circle around him? Like I always thought there was gonna be some play that comes out there. They don't do anything besides him just running around like a
yeah.
fool.
Yeah.
It's
No,
just
I agree. You got to do something to keep those defenses honest. Otherwise, you're running just to run.
right.
And so, and it goes back to again, play calling,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
I mean, you can look at Mahomes' face. I mean, I saw it, maybe you saw it too
Yeah.
live, but there are
Yes.
times that they call a call to his headset on fourth down. And you can see it on his face. He's like, "Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Is this really
Well,
what we're doing?"
the
And
fourth
so, I mean,
time,
it
the
goes
fourth time,
back to that.
yeah,
So,
the fourth time Pacheco ran into one of our own players, one of our own Kansas City offensive lineman or Travis Kelsey. Patrick just looked at him and said, "Dude, come on." And you like don't see like him walk to Pacheco and just say like, what's going on? Like this is you gotta stop this. You gotta knock this off.
so yeah. Well, and to finish up this fourth down thing
Yeah.
too, because
Oh
remember on
yeah.
that fourth down, they went for fourth and one. They're on their own 30-yard line, and it was still a tie game. And the defense was
Yeah.
playing lights out, as you pointed out. Just to give you a little stats, the previous five possessions that the Texans had leading up to that moment, they had run 17 plays for 18 yards in
Yeah.
five possessions, Dale.
Right.
Five
That's crazy.
possessions.
It's
I mean,
crazy.
that is crazy. So they're getting a little over 3 yards every time they touch the ball or every possession they had. And then at that point, you're giving them the ball. And so they're already in field goal range. If nothing else, they're going to take the lead. And so that's why it's such a bad play call.
Right.
But back to your point about Pacheco too. Why is Pacheco getting the start over Kareem Hunt at this point?
Yeah, I
Honest
don't know.
question.
I don't know. I really don't. I don't get it. And that's like, and like, we can't obviously ask Andy Reid. We don't have press credentials, but if I could ask him three questions, that would be one of them. Why Pacheco? Like
Yeah.
I like just me and you. I want you to tell people on the Kingdom Corner why what you say. I just need to know for my own sake because you got guys like Elijah Mitchell has to be as productive as Pacheco. Now Clyde probably not, but then also like I forget the guy's name. Is it
Damian Pierce, the running back.
Damian Pierce
Yeah.
that we picked up a couple weeks ago? Was it right after the Texan or the loss in Thanksgiving? But yeah, so like those things that like how come we can't like try something new? And I understand it's a complex offense, but me hand the ball off to you, you run. It's not it doesn't sound too complex.
Well, I'm glad you brought this up, Dale. So,
Well,
I mean,
I felt like you were baiting me into
I,
bringing this up.
I wasn't baiting you, but because you brought it up, I got some thoughts on it. So
All right.
we talked about S.A. Pole. You brought
Yeah.
up Elijah Mitchell, Damian Pierce, and so it
Yeah.
brings you back to something we alluded to earlier. Andy Reid is loyal to
Yeah.
people. He's loyal to coaches. He's
Yep.
loyal to players. I mean, think about when Bob Sutton got fired, right? Bob Sutton needed to be fired 2 years previous to when he
Yep.
did. But Andy Reid didn't do it. It took a big moment of them losing in the AFC Championship game
Right.
on a defense that couldn't stop Tom Brady to save their life
Yep.
for Andy Reid to get rid of Bob Sutton and bring in Steve Spagnuolo, who's
Yep.
been a great addition to the coaching staff. So, and I'm not saying the defense has been perfect. No defense will ever be perfect, but I mean, he has changed that defense around. And
Oh
so they
yeah.
brought in Tyron Matthew, they brought in Steve Spagnuolo, and that defense changed from that
Yeah.
moment on. And so Andy Reid is loyal to these guys. And whenever he does move on, it's usually a year or two too late or later
Yep.
than it needs to be.
Yep.
But it's the same with his players too, right? And so, I mean, we got guys out there who, whether it's Wanya Morris or whoever it is, starting over a guy like Asa Pole, who comes in there at left tackle and plays the lights out.
Right.
And so, my question is Andy Reid so loyal that to these veterans or whoever it is that we're not seeing the best of some of these guys who have a lot left in the tank.
Right. Yeah, I think you have a good point there, and I think like that loyalty is also one of his strengths, right? Not giving up on guys, and you see like the Kareem Hunts, right? And so like that's a great story, right? Kareem Hunt getting a second chance, playing for the Kansas City Chiefs, the team that drafted him. But he's over the hill as a running back. I mean, he's still productive, but he's not, no, he's 30 years old, as we found out on this podcast.
That's right. Over
So
the hill.
we we found out. So I think there's things to that, but yeah, like and then does the GM and his staff, do they need to take a more of a say, hey, we're not, because I think Pacheco's due, we're not signing him, right? We're not going to sign him back,
There's no
and
way
so
you sign him to a contract. If you do, it's league minimum.
listen,
And
they
even th-
they
and even
brought
then, even then, I don't know that I'd sign him for a league minimum. I'd say, you know what? Good luck. Test the free market.
yeah, they brought Clyde Edwards-Helaire back. That what makes me question
He's
this whole
better than
this whole front
Pacheco.
office.
Clyde is better than Pacheco.
Oh
I'll
yeah, well,
I'll go
I'm
ahead and
not
say that now.
much, not much.
No, not by much, but he's still better because he has
No,
better vision. He's just not fast at all,
at all.
and he's not big. I mean, he's like a small boulder. So, but he does he doesn't have the speed that Pacheco has, and he doesn't have
No,
the power that Kareem has.
yeah,
So, I mean, and he's still better than Pacheco.
right.
That's
Have you
that's my
you think like
point.
Pacheco looks different too? He doesn't run like he did when he first got in the league either.
No, and part of that is because of his run style. When you run with that kind of intensity and that
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of mentality and that kind of what's the word I'm looking for? That kind of
Anger.
yeah, anger, I guess. When you run that way though, your body takes a beating from it.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
your body, especially Pacheco, who doesn't have a big body to begin with,
Right.
it can't sustain it over a long period of time.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, like everybody can't make it in the league, right? Or there would
Yeah,
be all these teams. And so, he's a great story. I know he's a Kansas City favorite, but like if we want to win, we want to get back on the track of winning. We have to get a really, really good running back, or at least a serviceable running back that can maybe break a run off more than
yeah,
15 yards.
yeah. Well, I think Andy Reid he's got to get a voice in there that's going to speak some truth. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I know people talk about Matt Nagy and the job he's doing, and maybe we need a new voice in the OC
Yeah.
position. But either way, I do think the Chiefs need a new voice in that offense. I think it's become stagnant, and we're missing Eric Bieniemy. And I know that there's a lot of opinions about him as the OC, and I'm not even
Yeah.
saying that he needs to be offensive coordinator. But we
Right.
need somebody who's willing to push back a little bit to Andy Reid or whoever and say, no, that's not what we're
Yeah.
doing. Because
Right.
despite what people may think about Eric Bieniemy, if a guy messed up, who is going to be on the sideline saying, "What are you doing?
Right.
Get your head in the game"? It was going to be
Yeah.
Eric Bieniemy. It didn't matter if it was an offensive lineman. It didn't matter if it was Patrick Mahomes. If they messed up, they were going to hear it from Eric Bieniemy, and they're going to hear it before they even touch that sideline, because
Yeah.
he was over on that sideline yelling at them as they were running off the field, saying, "What are you doing?" And nobody on the coaching staff does that now. And
No.
maybe they're too timid and they're following Andy Reid's leadership too closely. And I'm not saying not to follow Andy Reid's leadership. I'm not saying to push back and make a stink of it. But we do have to have somebody that can speak honestly and speak truth into these
Right.
players and coaches' lives. And when uh, Andy Reid says, "Hey, we're going to go for it on 4th and 1 at our own 30 in a tie ball game where the other team's offense can't move the ball," you get on the radio headsets or as the OC and say, "No, that's not what we're doing."
Yeah.
And yes, Andy Reid still has the final say, but you have to have somebody willing to push back a little bit there. And
Yeah,
maybe
do you think that's it? Like, I mean, I know like Andy Reid's not calling the plays per se. I know he works on plays, and I know they go in there with like fourth down plays, right? And so like
yeah,
Matt Nagy's looking at the fourth down plays and saying, okay, we're 4th and 2 here. This is a play we're gonna, as you would only have one play, line up behind the center, hand it off to 29, first down, right? It's
first
either
off,
left,
I'm not
right, or
having only
middle.
one. I'm having that one. I'm also having Mahomes roll to the right where he can run it or throw it. Those
Okay,
are
all
those
right.
are my two fourth
Yeah,
down plays.
all right.
Because as we say before, if a team can't stop it, why would you stop doing it?
Right. Andy Reid's like, all right, we'll go for it. And then Matt Nagy calls the play in. Andy Reid's listening to the play, and is he going, ooh, I don't think I'd call that play. Is he letting that play go out there, or is he saying, all right, let's roll, Matt. I'm rolling with you, and he's going to take the blame. We know Andy Reid's going to fall on the sword, right? He's going to
Right.
fall on the sword every time. It's always Andy Reid's fault. Like, no, I would like for Andy Reid to say, Matt Nagy blew it on this call, and that's obviously ultimately comes to be my fault because like I have 51% of the vote, right? So
Right.
like, yeah, he blew it, but I should have corrected him, in
Yeah.
that moment.
Well,
So I
he'll
get
never
it.
say it no matter what, as you pointed out.
I know.
But
But
I
do you
do
think it's something
think
like that, or do
what
you
I do
like that
think
loyalty aspect of it? I don't know.
I think that's part of it. That
Yeah,
no matter what happens, you're never going to really know because Andy Reid will never, ever, ever throw a coach
no,
or a player under the bus in any press conference or question or anything. I mean,
yeah,
never. So the most you're going to hear is, well, we all have to do better starting with me.
yeah,
That's what you're going to hear. But I think Mahomes, you can see the frustration on his face.
right,
He's missing the guys like Eric Bieniemy, and maybe Mahomes was part of the thing when you get EB out. I don't know. I'm speculating a little bit, but I think that even if he was or wasn't, I think at this point Mahomes is realizing the dynamic that EB brought to that team
yeah,
as a coach, and I think they're missing that. And so I think at this point, yes, players need to be held accountable, but coaches I think need to be held as much or more accountable because I think, as
right,
we spoke about earlier, these coaches are not coaching the way they should be. When you're regressing instead of progressing,
right.
you are failing as a coach.
Well, we're wasting prime years of 15, and that makes me sad.
Yes,
And that
yes.
makes me super sad.
And
So,
so here's the question I have to follow up all this: when does or should Clark Hunt give Andy Reid and Brett Veach a call and say, "Hey, we need to have a meeting about some of these coaches and stuff," and say something along the lines of, "Hey, this was unacceptable. Our
yeah,
players regressed. Our coaches did not help them, and now we need to make some changes." And I'm not saying make changes on the players' side because that's already going to happen. It happens
yeah, that's
every
already going to
year.
happen. It's going to
So
be a totally different team next year.
and because of our cap space issues, we've
Yep,
put so much on the front end of or on the back end of these contracts to try to
yep,
get all these championships so quickly that this next year we're already over the cap by like 100 million or whatever it was, and so there's
yeah,
going to be big changes next year already. So you don't
yep.
have to worry. So does Clark Hunt say we need coaching staff changes? And he doesn't even have to say, in my opinion, doesn't have to go in there and say you have to get rid of your offensive coordinator, but he can say you need to make a minimum of two coaching staff changes this year. It's up to you who it is, but two guys got to
Yeah.
go.
Well, and I'm sure he'll have the social team right behind him, so they catch it on
Yeah.
film and they will post it. Uh,
I'm sure that's how it'll go.
no, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Clark's that way. I don't think Clark will do that. I wish he would do that. I wish he'd meddle a little more. I think he tries to do what Andy, like Andy Reid's talked about, like, hey, Clark kind of just lets us like do football. He writes the checks, right, and
Yeah.
counts his money. And so, yeah, I definitely think like that would be a thing where he could meddle a little more and like just put pressure, like because I think the dynamic of Brett Veach and Andy Reid, like Andy Reid, I'm not gonna say found Brett Veach, but like gave him an opportunity, right? And
Yeah.
so gave him an opportunity, and it gave him that opportunity. So does he feel a loyalty since to Andy Reid and like, oh, he really likes this player, we should keep him. So, yeah, there's a lot more we can talk about that in the future here. That's
Yeah.
I mean, just thinking about that. But yeah, hey, hats off to the Texans, 20-10. You come into Arrowhead, you kick the king down. Congratulations, best
That's
of
right.
luck. Actually, not best of luck. We're rooting for an NFC team. I just don't know
That's
which one
right.
yet.
That's right. It's exactly right. So, hey, I'll tell you this. We have so much more, and not even me personally, I have so much more to talk about with
Yeah,
this Chiefs, what they should be doing this off season. So, even though the Chiefs season is over, hey, you need to tune into these episodes because we're going to be addressing off-season stuff for the rest of the season because we might as well because we need to. So,
boom.
and
Yes.
there's so much stuff to talk about, and so make sure you're joining in with us for all those things. And so, hey, we appreciate you joining us this episode of the Kingdom Corner. This episode, like all of them, are brought to you by Oh Hey Threads. Get your own super soft tee or hoodie at ohheythreads.com. We'll see you next time right here in the Kingdom